So I've never made a video like this before. Um, Figured I'd give a shot at it, just see how it goes. Um, I don't have anything planned for this. Just gonna see what comes to mind, if anything does. Um, just playing some Minecraft right now. Figured it'd be something good in the background if you're watching or doing something else, whatever, work, school, just hanging out, doesn't really matter. Just figured I'd make this. I've seen other videos like this before. I don't know how they do it so smoothly. Probably editing, which I'll probably go back and do in this. Just figured it'd be like a good idea. I don't normally do voiceover stuff. Most of the stuff you've probably seen is just gameplay wise. I don't really do anything too vocal. I just throw stuff together in whatever game I'm playing or whatever interests me at the time, and just kind of put it in there, see how that goes. As of right now, my most viewed video is probably the Combine Takes the Back Rooms video, even though they don't really take the back rooms in that video. They kind of just walk around, and I try to do some environmental storytelling in that. That was fun to make. It wasn't too difficult. It was mainly just trying to get the AI to do its thing in that game. A lot of cuts and stuff not seen when I was making that. So that's my most viewed. Last I checked, it was around 540 views. So for what I've put out there, that's pretty good view-wise. I know compared to a lot of other people, it's not very much, but for me, that's a lot right now. So, which is pretty cool. Other than that, you probably notice I like Valve games, which is, I think a lot of people do. I don't think it's not a bad take to like Valve games. Kind of, I mean, for the time they came out, they're pretty influential. Even now, they're influential. Like, Half-Life is still always talked about. Gary's Mod is still played all the time. Even though I don't see those games get a lot of traction, like, through streamers and stuff. Like, I don't see a lot of people playing Gary's Mod on Twitch at all. I know there's some, but there's not that many, usually. Half-Life and stuff I've seen sort of come back a little bit. I've seen like VTubers and stuff. They been playing through Half-Life and stuff recently. So, which is always cool. There's always kind of like a bounce back of older games coming back again. That's not unheard of. I know I just watching Snuffy last night, the VTuber Snuffy. She was playing the original Half-Life and beat it, which is pretty cool to watch. She said she's gonna do Half-Life 2. Don't know when that's gonna happen though. Who knows if I'll even watch it. It's just something that I came across when I was just at night one time. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just chilling here. Again, you're probably watching Minecraft and you're just running around in circles doing whatever. This world I've had for a little while now. I haven't gotten too far really. Just the main hut you're looking at is my house mainly. This brick and iron bars. This is mainly like my blacksmithing shed or crafting shed, whatever you want to call it. Kind of keep everything in one area. Then over here I keep all of like my just items and whatever. So like here's wood, here's stone. That's empty. Some dye. Over here's some of the beds. There's a dog named him Dante after the Devil May Cry character. Some extra armor. Over here is the enchanting table. I try to make it like cozy in here. Let's see what else. I got some more dogs over here. They don't have any name tags. They're just chilling over here. Got some horses. Big pen for them. Some more dogs. A bell. This bee This I don't even know what you would call this. That's here. Then there's like this thing. I don't know what I was really going for here. I think it's just supposed to be like there'd be like a sign or something in here, but it just felt like this was better than just like a sign in the middle. So this is pretty cool. Got some stuff here. Then this is supposed to be like a bar or something like that. Sort of like supposed to be like a boat kind of theme, but I was like, well, I don't know if the boat would really fit it. So I kind of made it just like this big long bar and some tables over here. Let's see. Outside, there's a jack-o'-lantern right there too. So yeah, it's kind of like on water, so kind of be like a boat or something like that. Then again, I didn't really go that far into it. Down this way is into the mine shaft. Down this way, you take the cart to go down in there, or you can switch it over here to different tracks. That one on the way up there, that one's not finished yet. I'm still working on that one. This one over here, this one leads to a cherry blossom area, which is where I got all these trees from. I just planted them over here. Just follow that path, you'll go all the way and hit the cherry blossoms and stuff. We can go down here, the mine shaft. Actually, you know what? I'll go over here first. They've got some other houses and stuff over here. They're just empty. Like this one's got like one floor and then a basement underneath it. Kind of see in there. More farm animals, chickens, pigs, cows. Got some sheep over there. There's this house here, kind of small, nothing in here. It's got a backyard and such. Let's see, what else? Let's go to the other house here. Yeah, so you have one big open area here. Then we can go downstairs. This is a nice average basement, I guess. Let's go back up here. Over here, this is sort of like a back entrance to the main castle area, I guess. It is. There's this big wall that goes around the whole thing, kind of. I'll show you the ends of it. There's a watchtower up there. Let's see. You can kind of see where the tower leads. Kind of goes down and wraps around, which I'll show you the other side in a minute. And kind of another entrance here. This one leads to a village down that way. I just made a one big long path that leads to it. Let's see. Go back over here. Got a little campfire area over here. Follow the wall here. This one goes over to like this. Again, I don't know what you would call this. Sort of like a walkway. There's some bamboo up here. That goes up to the watchtower there. This goes over here. This is sort of like a cross section. That goes down into the mines, the same as the other area over there. This one leads over here. Big open area. So I'll get to that in a second. Over here's some water, some lily pads and stuff. There's like a fountain kind of thing. Kind of like a fountain tower thing I was working on. Let's see. Over here is like a church or like a cathedral or whatever I was working on. Sounds like a dark version of that. See, there's all this red glass everywhere and then red carpet. Here. Yep, can go back here. Back area. This one leads up to another portal. There's another portal that's up by the cherry blossoms up there. Go down here. Got a painting there. Then go up here. We got a really big cherry blossom over here. Kind of in the center of this water here. Then over here, go into these doors. And this was supposed to be like a princess room. You know, something like that. Sort of like there's the castle and there's like the princess, whatever. Kind of modeled it after that. Clock on the wall, nothing in there. I like the way the cherry blossoms have all this, like these dropping leaves, so it gives it like this atmosphere to the room, which is pretty nice. Go back here. Let's go back down. Good view of the tower there. Up there's not much up there on that watchtower. It's just big and blank and open. I can go down there. Just kind of look into it. I've been playing Minecraft for a while. You know, I grew up watching Minecraft YouTubers and stuff. Like, I still remember, like, watching Tobuscus when he would do all his Minecraft videos. Pretty cool. I mainly remember getting into Minecraft when he did his, what was it called? It was like the opposite to the Nether, but it was kind of like this heaven area. Can't remember what it was called, but I remember watching that and kind of being, like, really drawn into Minecraft at that time. Because, like, it was, like, I don't know, you just, like, Minecraft is attractive to people. Like, you know how it is, like, it's a really famous game. Like, tons of people have played it. It's, especially to, like, me as a kid back then, it was definitely really attractive to play games like that. Especially coming from, like, my background of, like, somewhat Nintendo stuff. Like, I didn't have a lot of games back then. Like, I had a Wii and a DS and stuff, but I didn't have a lot of games for them. I remember having Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. That's one of the Pokemon games I had. Other than that, there was, like, Wii Sports and stuff for the Wii. I didn't really grow up with Mario all that much. My friends around me did, but I didn't really have that much of an influence on me. Like, Mario wasn't really around as much. Like, he was always like, hey, go to your friend's house, play Mario Kart. That was kind of how it was. I never had, like, Mario Party or anything like that myself, so I was usually stuck to, like Wii Sports. And then I had what was it, Dragon Quest Swords, I think that was one of the other games I had. I also had Force Unleashed on the Wii as well. Force Unleashed is one of my favorites. The Wii version and the Xbox 360 version, even though they have their differences, each of which is still worthwhile playing. So it's a bit difficult to explain, but there's some levels that are missing from each game. Like on the Xbox version, or the Xbox 360 version of the Force Unleashed, it's, you go to the Jedi Temple as DLC, while in the Wii version you go and that's just in the base game. That Wii version is also playable on the Nintendo Switch, so they Aspire went back and they sort of cleaned it up, and it runs really well. I've got it on the Switch. Played that recently, beat that all the way through. It's still pretty fun to play, aside from the 360 version. I was gonna go over here to this tower and I got sidetracked, which I guess is good for this kind of video here. I'm saying a lot, which I've noticed, because my brain is working, trying to think of what I can say next and what might be interesting. But other than that, I didn't really, I guess I've always been, like, or did I already go back up here? I did. Yeah, I was already up here, because I looked around and I'm in two different places thinking of all this stuff. But I guess I was always sort of like a gamer, really. I've had games where it's like as long as I can remember, really. There was a SpongeBob game that was on my dad's computer that I played a little bit of. Then, of course, the Wii and DS I mentioned, the Game Boy as well. But it wasn't until, like, I was, like, 11 or 12 when I got my Xbox 360 that I really grasped onto games and stuff like that. Especially, like, Halo 3. That one is still one of my favorites, and I play that on Master Chief Collection quite often now. So I know that, like, the original Halo trilogy for a lot of people is kind of like the gold standard for Halo. I don't think Halo 4 is that bad of a game. I think out of everything 343 made, that one's probably the best one. Halo 4 takes the most influence from what Bungie was going to do anyway. Like in the game when Master Chief has the bomb on his back where he literally carries the nuke to the didact, that was taken from Bungie's idea for what they could have him do in Halo 2, where Miranda was gonna give him a bomb and he's gonna go take it to the Prophets and blow it up there. But they ended up taking that and putting it into Halo 4. So that was a cool like reuse of an idea. Also Cortana going rampant, that was also Bungie's idea. So I don't really blame Halo 4 for being a bad game story-wise or anything like that. I liked Halo 4 for the story and for gameplay. Thought it was a good game. It's definitely the best that 343's made. I think if I had to put them in a list, it would be 4, Infinite, and then 5. But 5 lacked story-wise. It just wasn't... It didn't feel like Halo, you know? I thought the multiplayer wasn't bad. I definitely could see, like... Especially around that time, like, where, like, movement-based multiplayer was at the high part of that. Like, Call of Duty had Advanced Warfare, and they also had Black Ops 3, so you gotta think about that as well. So I can definitely see, like, why they'd be, like, putting all that effort into, like, the movement-based multiplayer. Halo 5's I think Halo 5 Warzone, I think, was the best mode out of that. Not the one where you compete against other players, but where you're kind of like Warzone Firefight, that one. That was my favorite mode out of Halo 5. That was like the one mode I played consistently. And going on to Halo Infinite, big team battle has been what I've mainly been focused on. I don't play much of Halo Infinite now, though. I just feel like it hasn't held my attention, which I feel like a lot of people would say the same thing. I don't think the gameplay is bad or anything. I do think it was a well-made game. I do know voice cracked. My voice is cracked. I think it was a well-made game. Even though it was delayed a few times. But I think, especially around that time, in like people's idea of like what they want out of a game, they want these games to come out perfect, like to the best that they want to get their money's worth when they buy something like that. Which, you know, I get it. I get the want to get your money's worth out of something that you go to work, you pay bills, whatever, and then you sit down and you want to play a game that's fun and worth putting your time into. But it's not often how the reality of games work. I think like you think back to like, I'll just use like let's do like Xbox 360 again. Like Halo 3, like Halo 3 wasn't perfect when it released, but people still think highly of it, right? You can still go online now and find like the videos of like the midnight release for that game and see how excited people were and people like pulling all-nighters to play through the campaign. It's really special too. Like those games aren't, like old games aren't perfect either. Like they have their own issues as well. Like I'm sure, like, because once, like back then, it was the idea to put the best foot forward on those games was because once those games were in the hands of people, they couldn't really update them afterward. Like for the Xbox 360, they could, because that was online, so you just send out updates like you do nowadays. It's pretty regular now. Like pretty much all games get like some kind of like, every so often there'll be some kind of update that comes out. But like on like the PlayStation 2 and stuff, like that was like not possible unless there was like a later version of the game that came out on another disc. But you had to make sure that what came out was the best possible one. Even if there was still bugs in the game, you had to make sure that it was the best possible version. Because if you ship a game, especially on disc, at that time, you can't go back and fix it unless you re-release it in some way. Which I don't think any games have really re-released to fix things. There might have been like an updated disc or something, but I can't remember anything that would be like a game that was like perceived bad and then re-released later and with like all these fixes and everything. I can't really think of anything that would be like back then. I wonder if there's like a big weight on game companies now. Like whatever studio makes something, right? Like if Epic with Fortnite and everything, right? I wonder if there's like a level of like we need to make this the best possible thing or version of the game or whatever because there's so much competition otherwise. Like I feel like most games nowadays follow like some kind of blueprint, right? For like monetization or whatever. There's always some kind of like roadmap that devs are putting out for like between the state and the state or these months or during like this holiday season or whatever. There's gonna be some kind of update with this kind of like DLC that comes out or like some kind of battle pass or some kind of like paid content within the game, some kind of microtransaction, right? Where it was just every game hopped on like loot boxes and stuff. Like Call of Duty for a number of titles had loot boxes, like Advanced Warfare had them, Black Ops 3 had them, World War II had them as well, before everyone sort of switched over to the Battle Pass model, where it's like you pay however much for the Battle Pass and you play it for so long, or you can pay to continue it on. I don't really like Battle Passes. I feel like they take too much time to finish them. I feel like you're paying for something to then work to earn, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like if you go to McDonald's and you get like a burger or something, and then they tell you, hey, well, you paid for the burger, but we're going to need you to mop the floors first, even though you've already paid for it, and it's sitting there waiting for you to claim it, right? That's what it just feels like to me. It feels like, I know they want to hold like retention for like player base and stuff. Like I can't see Fortnite dropping off anytime soon, just because like they have Godzilla coming out soon. Like that was sort of at the beginning of this battle pass. He was just sitting in the menu, like he was there. So I don't know. I know it's for player retention to keep adding new content, but it's and I know that they always want to keep making money, just as anyone else does. But I feel like putting it in the battle pass model is kind of scummy, to where you're paying for something that you're not getting until you earn it first. It just doesn't make sense to me, unless it's like an easily gone through battle pass, or like once you buy it, it doesn't go away. Like in Halo Infinite, like you pay for that battle pass, it's still sitting there. You can still buy the old ones in that game still if you want to go back and buy them. Tekken 8 as well. I don't think their battle pass is too difficult to get through. Just as long as you keep playing, you can still get it at a certain amount of time. So I think like Tekken 8 and Halo Infinite have the best in terms of battle passes. I feel like Fortnite just takes way too long to get through. You're sort of sitting in that game for way too long, and it sort of makes you go, like, I've played however many games, done this many quests or whatever to get XP, and I'm still only like too short within the battle pass. I feel like there's something that needs to like quicken that, and I feel like the first thing they go to is like, hey, you could pay more to get quicker through the battle pass or whatever. And it's this weird, like, you know what they're doing, you know, let's make it so long that it gives people the idea to pay more to get through it. I don't really like that. That's just, it's not comfortable. I think it's just, it's a big negative for me. Which I feel like Halo Infinite should get a lot more credit than it has, really, for that idea of, hey, all our old battle passes are still available, and once you pay them, they don't go away. You can still go back and play them whenever you can, which is definitely a positive for Halo Infinite. I don't think I don't think battle passes are going to change anytime soon. Just because I feel like we're in that model of like every game is doing it. It feels like every game that comes out now has some sort of battle pass attached to it. It's like Delta Force came out not that long ago, and day one there was a battle pass available, which I played a little bit of Delta Force. I played the extraction mode, like the Tarkov mode. Thought it was cool in some segments, but not everything was like too catching for me. I didn't really like the battlefield mode. It felt buggy when I was playing it. It didn't feel finished. What I mean by that is, it's like I saw too much of the same thing over and over again, even though with that kind of game mode you're going to. But I mean, like, we would always get locked in like these segments of the map where it'd be like, there's the one map where you're in like the train yard area, then you move past that, then you go like down the hole and you're fighting underground for a bit. Once you're in that underground bit, you're really locked into like this shooting down this long hallway for however long until one side either slowly loses ground or whatever, and that was kind of iffy for me. The extraction mode I did like a bit more. I liked the extraction mode more though, even though it felt off. Like, it felt like every gun that would go against a player that wasn't from a NPC was sort of like a one-hit kill. So like if I was going against another player, it would seem like their bullets would always be like one hit or something like that. Well, NPCs are sort of like damage sponges a bit, where you can put bullets into them and they'd give some back to you, but it wasn't that big of a trade-off versus players, which is a massive damage difference. Then again, I don't really play that many extraction game mode stuff. Delta Force is my main starter for that first experience of extraction shooters. I'd seen people play Tarkov. It never really caught my interest. It seemed cool, but it was just never really something I could get into. Let's see. I don't know. Anything that's... As of right now, though, I feel like my main focus right now for like games and stuff, or stuff I'm looking forward to, is definitely Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC. I don't have a PS5, so I couldn't play it when it came out. But now that it's coming out on PC, I'm definitely excited for that. I've stayed away from like as much spoilers as I can for that game, so when it comes out later this month, I can jump into it and just be ready to go for that, because I'm really excited. I would like to remake. Gone back and looked at other stuff too, like Crisis Core, played through that. I watched some stuff of like the original FF7. I feel like that's, for like an older game like that, I know that like for a lot of people that was the game that really cemented like their love for video games, was that game. I feel like watching that game with streamers and stuff though, watching them play through it was sort of like the better experience. For example, watching Sea-Dog go through and play FF7 was sort of special, because it was like a community thing where I've briefly touched FF7, the original one. I just thought it's just better just watch a streamer do it, just because there's no voice acting in that game. There is a mod to put voice acting in, but it didn't really feel right to do it that way. No, that's not saying anything bad about the people who actually worked on that mod. I know that took a long time to put together. I just felt like, it was better to watch it in like a community setting like that and experience that story rather than just sitting alone reading words, right? I feel like the original FF7 was meant to be like played with your buddies as you followed through that story. I don't feel like it was meant to be played alone. But now, however, like the remake and stuff, that's definitely played to... I mean, you can't play with other people, but it's like... It's more like of a cinematic experience now than it was back then. Even though there was cutscenes and stuff back then, but it was really it wasn't as like cutscenes are nowadays, right? Like cutscenes now are like high quality, really well animated stuff like that. Think of like any game that came out within the last few years, like the animation quality, and that's going to be pretty high level. Like you're not going to see anything too janky unless you watch some like first time animator doing something. But I don't know. I'm excited for Rebirth. I will get to experience that. I did put in my pre-order for that, so I'll be playing that as soon as it comes available, if I can. But also looking up like FF7 related stuff with like other YouTubers and stuff was pretty cool. Like Maximilian, dude, it's like the king of like simping for FF7, which is pretty cool. I think Max is a great guy. Man, my voice is crazy. Max does a good job of like showing his love for things. I'm always attending his streams and stuff just because he's definitely a feel-good streamer. Like he'll occasionally talk about like negative stuff and things like that, but generally it's about a love for video games and stuff that people can come together on. So I definitely really appreciate him for doing everything that he does on his streams and his YouTube and stuff. He's been doing it for a long time, so which is also really, really cool. Then again, of like, I'd say people like me who like grew up on YouTube, basically, like watching Markiplier and all that stuff back when like they were first starting, really. Like people will say like, oh yeah, I watched Markiplier when you first started. Like I didn't find Markiplier until like Five Nights at Freddy's, which I feel like a lot of people did. I feel like FNAF really pushed him forward, really gave him a boost to his videos and stuff. Which, you know, it's definitely deserved, right? I've never heard anything bad about Mark. Really, I've never seen anything bad about him. So, definitely put up the right guy to be like, hey, like, be like this guy. Don't be a dick. Which I feel like a lot of people try to pull out the negative sides of people also. Like, I feel like we're more attracted to the negative sides of people than we are the positive sides. And when we see the positives, we're not always focused on them. It's like the negative stuff is always what we want to go towards. I think it's why there's so much like, this person did this and this person said this about this person. It's like, well, you can focus on those things, but oftentimes they're not seen in full context. Like, if a conversation about somebody is posted online and then this person said this, and it's like, well, did you put it in full context? Are we seeing everything that's related to this? Who is it? Who's putting out this thing about them? Do they have anything to gain from doing this? And then there's stuff like rightfully so that gets brought up, right? Like, if people are harmed or anything like that, it's better to have that out there rather than just like keeping it quiet, you know? Like, it's difficult to really put like a light on difficult topics, you know? Because there are things that people are not comfortable with, and there are things that are like they're really bothersome to people, right? Like different traumas and stuff that people go through. Like, something that doesn't bother me might really bother another person, and finding like this soft area where both can exist is really difficult. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to try to care about other people, but I feel like most people are sort of just like, it's my way or the highway for a lot of people, which I understand why people would be that way. But at the same time, you sort of need like a level of care for other people, if that makes sense. Like, I've never seen anybody go out of their way to well, I don't want to say go out of their way, but like, well, let me put it this way. There are definitely people who do things for the wrong reasons. And they know they're the wrong reasons, but they do them anyway. But then there are people who do things for the wrong reasons. Or no, they do things for the right reasons, but in the wrong way. Right? Which I feel like that happens more often than not, right? Also, it could just be ignorance or just not thinking about something, right? Like you could say something about somebody and then that really hurts them, but you were not even thinking about what could have been the thing that hurt them, right? Like you weren't even thinking about it, which I feel like oftentimes happens, right? Like you say something about like this person, blah, 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 or whatever, and then like they find it as like a negative, but really you're trying to be like a positive about them, but they took it wrong, and then gets thrown on a spiral of like he said, she said, and it's all this big explosive argument or disagreement or whatever, and then that could lead to like friendships falling apart or families falling apart, and it's like this big thing that nobody really wants to deal with, but comes around eventually. I've been yapping for 36 minutes, holy shit. Didn't think I'd get this far. I thought it'd be like, and we're done. But dang, it's been 36 minutes. Why are you still listening to this? Huh? You're still listening to this? You just chilling there? Working? Doing whatever. I don't know what you're doing. I appreciate you listening to this, though. I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while, but I just never really... I was always like, well, like, what topics could I talk about? What could I bring forward that I feel like needs to be talked about? And just, like, I could never really think of anything, so I was just like, let's just yap for however long and see what comes up. So, that's nuts. Even though I've been running around this Minecraft world for who knows how long. Well, 37 minutes now, but, running around in circles around this area. Let's go in this minecart. Let's go down here. Oh, boy. Whee! I also do occasionally stream on Twitch, sometimes. I was playing VR chat for a period of time, but then I was just like, well, I don't want VR chat to be the only thing I stream, if I did. And then getting in the full VR gear and stuff like that was just kind of draining, Like you had to basically suit up to get into VR with like all the trackers and stuff. And I was just like, that's not something I wanted to do every time. So then I stopped streaming for a bit. I thought about getting back into it, but I was like, well, I could just make videos and just kind of tweak them that way instead of doing it live, which I thought about getting back into streaming just to see how I feel about it. And I don't know what else to talk about now, so do I end it off here? Okay, it's been like 40 minutes, so thanks you guys for watching or listening or whatever you're doing. Hopefully life ain't too bad on you like it is some people right now. Like, there's stuff overseas, there's stuff that's going on in LA right now with all the fires and stuff, so a lot of negatives right now, but try to push forward one step at a time. Don't take anything too seriously. And if it is something that's serious, don't try to make it less serious. Don't let it weigh on you, no matter what it is. Yeah. It's been 40 minutes of me yapping, so hopefully I wasn't too annoying for you to listen this long. I might do this again, see how this goes. I have no idea what I'm going to title this, so if you're watching this, then you know what I've titled it, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.